I'm Natasha Lockhart. With the holidays upon us, we'll talk about serving others. We can all use some of that.
I'm Aqua Danes, and we have some great service opportunities right here in town that need your help.
And I'm Stacy Beck. How resilient would you say you are? Bouncing back can be hard. We'll talk about what the Nebo School District is doing to improve.
All this and more coming right up on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. How's everyone doing?
Oh,
Good.
fabulous.
Wow, it's been forever.
It's been a while, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, how
We've
long?
had like a month off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had our
feel like-
anniversary celebration,
We certainly
which
did.
was
Fun.
so fun. Yes,
That's right. And Doc Brundy's.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
that was so fun.
yeah.
We had a lot of great support. So thank you to everybody
Yes,
who came out that
thank you.
night. And I hope it drummed up some business for Doc Brundy's too.
Yes.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Well, and since that time, a lot has gone on.
Yes.
Congratulations are in order for you.
Yes, we had a new
Grandma.
grandbaby.
That's
Yes.
number
Two.
two. Okay.
Been 4 years though, which is
Oh,
a long
wow.
time. So this one, ooh, we have a granddaughter
cute.
and now we just got a grandson. So
Aw.
super fun.
Lincoln.
Lincoln James.
Oh.
Wow.
And he's
Seems
as of now
precious.
just not even a week old.
Oh my goodness.
So he's just to cuddle
Yummy.
up.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially for the
So much
holidays. So
fun.
fun.
Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. What about you guys?
What else?
Oh gosh, all kinds of things.
You're going away for Thanksgiving.
Going away this year. Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
The funny part is I swore that I would never do it again. Tried it once in Las
That's
Vegas.
true, and we
yeah,
talked
and I'm
about
like,
that.
ugh, hated it. I'm traditional. I'll never go away again.
And here you go.
Well, and here we go again. But it's because it's the longest break for the kids. So we're taking advantage of the days off. And I had a talk with my son and I said, look, we'll have Thanksgiving dinner early. We're going to trade it for some tuna fish this year. And they're okay with that because beach time is quality time. It's family time. And
Oh, right.
it will be fantastic.
Right.
So, gonna be fun.
Nice.
fun.
Yeah.
What's new with you, Aqua?
Well, I'm still de-junking my house. Can you believe that?
You guys have a lot of junk.
I
Just
can't
kidding.
believe that.
Just kidding.
I know I do.
No,
It's
good for
true.
you.
It is absolutely true, and
You're a
it's quite
trooper.
amazing. And you know, I have boys, right? So our stuff is different to girls. You know, girls with their hair and so many clothing, but I have a lot of jeans and stuff. But my kids, I've noticed, like. They're throwing things out. They'll leave it out, but they want their bedrooms to be just empty and clean and
Wow.
So that's been nice.
But no, I think that's wonderful. And I really believe that it's an ongoing process.
It
and I read an
is.
article the other day that spring cleaning and fall cleaning, that there's two sides to the cleaning and there's a lot of elements that go on for both. So fall
Right.
cleaning is just as important as spring cleaning. So I'm
Absolutely.
doing the same thing.
Yeah,
So there's a lot
just-
of
and it feels good
de-junking
every
that goes on.
time.
Yes, every
Yeah.
time you get rid of some
a
things.
closet or books
Yes, and drawers
shoes and drawers.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes you not want to accumulate anymore.
No.
You're just like, why buy more?
More stuff.
If
No.
I'm just going to get rid of it in
Yes.
6 months.
Absolutely.
We did that with the Halloween stuff. I'm like, really? Like,
Do we
why?
need it?
Do we,
Yes.
do we love Halloween this much? Apparently, we do. We had a lot of Halloween stuff.
you?
Okay.
Yes. So we went through the Halloween stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I swore that this was going to be the last year of this particular Christmas tree that we're using this
Yeah.
year, and it will be
Alright.
the last year of this tree. So
Wow.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I know. I've said that a couple times about things, and then for 5 years later, they're going strong.
Right.
You're
When
just like,
the Christmas sales come around this year, maybe we'll get a new
we'll do
tree.
it. Then we'll do it.
We'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking Christmas, Festival of Lights opens the day after Thanksgiving. No, Thanksgiving night. Sorry, Thanksgiving evening, 6 p.m. till New Year's Day.
Oh.
So make sure you guys go up. It's so pretty.
You've already seen it?
No.
Oh, I
no.
was going to say. Oh, it hasn't opened up
Nope,
yet.
it hasn't
Yes,
opened up
right,
yet.
Right.
So Thanksgiving night, that's
Yeah.
always a fun family tradition. We usually go 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a year.
Oh wow,
It's awesome.
It is pretty.
They change it up a little bit every year. It's
now-
always fun to see how they move
Yeah.
things around. And can you believe we've already had just a little bit of snow?
A little bit, I know.
Oh
It was
my
kind of
gosh.
magical.
Not really.
Yes,
For a
it
minute.
was.
I
Oh,
woke
yes.
up and I was like,
For
and I
a
went
minute.
back and all my kids were like, oh, Mum, see, I was just hiding under the quilts.
Yeah,
but
I'm not ready for the cold. I'm cold to the
Can
bone.
feel
Well,
it.
tis
Yeah.
upon
Yes.
us, so
Yep.
get ready.
Yeah.
Are
Get
you
ready.
hosting? Thanksgiving?
I'm not. I go to my in-laws. It's wonderful. And I get to bring a big salad. And I was going to share something in my magazine, but I couldn't
Okay.
find it in my nice
Okay.
little magazine. But instead of that, I'm going to show you butternut squash and white bean soup. I love soups for
Oh, I
weathers
love
like
soups
this.
too,
You know,
yes.
when you have the pumpkins or the butternut squash and then you put all your herbs. With a nice, thick, chunky bread. Don't you think it's great?
Do you make bread?
I do. The
Okay.
no-knead bread. You know the one where you add flour, yeast, and water, and then you just mix it, and that's it. And then you leave it for 24 hours, and then you kind of just chuck it into, and it's like a French bread.
Oh,
Soft in
like
the
a
middle,
sourdough? Well, no, it wouldn't be sourdough.
No, just like a crunchy bread, crunchy on the outside. $4.50. It's my favorite. It's so easy
Is
to
there really
do.
only those 3 ingredients?
Yes, and salt.
I love bread.
No knead bread. Look that up. No knead bread. It was a big thing in New York, like a couple of years ago, 5
Okay.
years
I'll
ago.
let you make a for
I
me.
should. I would love to. That one
Oh,
I
I
could
love
do.
it. Yeah.
Never go wrong.
Mine would be like a big rock.
No, seriously. you can't go wrong.
even if I followed it to a
Really?
T, I'm
I'm
sure.
serious.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Baking is so not my thing.
Oh, I love it. I love vamping up my
I would do the
my
soup.
oven.
You can do the bread.
But okay, that's the deal. We should do that.
I know,
Bring
that-
all, you know,
That's
the
what's
colours
fun
in.
for Thanksgiving, I think, because everyone just brings 1 or 2 things.
Yes, I love
And then
that.
it's this big meal.
Yes, and the pumpkin pies. I'm not a pumpkin pie.
All the holidays.
But
It's fun to go to all the parties coming up and
Yeah.
have all the variety of food and so many flavors that you only eat between like Thanksgiving and Christmas.
That's true.
Well, it's going to be Black Friday as well, so going to be doing some shopping. Now, you and I were having a conversation a little earlier, about a month ago, about gift alternatives and what something that your family had started. Maybe instead of doing actual gifts, that you were going to be trading memory ideas.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I'm thinking about maybe trying a bit of that this year instead.
Well, I just think it sounds like when you're talking about de-junking, it just makes sense. The minimalist is just, it's such a trend right now. And I think it just gives you like the privilege or the opportunity to say no gifts.
Yeah.
Let's spend quality time together instead.
Absolutely. I love
so
that.
I think,
And I think
there's a
that's how
couple
we did
people
it.
on my gift list. I think by the time this airs, my mom will have received her gift, but I bought her tickets to the Nutcracker in Salt Lake.
nice.
And then I went and bought her a Nutcracker because she doesn't know yet. So I'm going to wrap that up, give her the Nutcracker, and say we have a date in Salt Lake. So
that's
I
cute.
hope she loves that.
Yeah.
And I think just with my married kids, especially, like give them movie passes or things where they can go experience things together. Because when you're young and in your 20s, it's hard to come up with that extra money just to go out and do things.
Right.
So
It's true.
I love that idea.
yeah.
We're trying a bit more of that this year as well. So my mom actually suggested that this year too. She wanted to take our Barrett to New York to see Frozen in New York musical theater, and then let her skate at Rockefeller Center, and then to go see Wicked for her birthday. So creating those memories rather than actually giving the gifts.
Okay,
So
and I just read, if we have a minute, I'm reading an
we have exactly a minute.
amazing book right now to tie in with this. It's called The Happiness Hypothesis.
Ooh.
And I love psychology, I love self-help books, but this one specifically is saying when you buy something or purchase something or consume something versus having an experience. They've done studies on the different groups of people, and the people that have experiences are happier longer. And the reason they believe is because usually if you spend over $100 to do something, you do it with someone else. And so you're
absolutely true.
doing it with someone else.
Yeah.
And I don't even like to surprise people like the day of, because my anticipation for anything, going to the theater or taking my mom, like I'm so excited. I'm like, if I wait till right the day before, then she misses the whole month of December being excited about it. Like I want her to be excited. So I think the anticipation and sometimes the planning is as fun as the actual event.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
He says you are happier when you have experiences.
Yeah.
So that ties in with our gift giving.
Absolutely,
We can encourage
it
our
does.
viewers to go do.
That's
Go
right.
be instead of have.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to talk about our book this episode
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Yes,
That's
yes.
really good.
Coming up next on Studio Chatter, we'll be chatting about resiliency in our schools. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Nebo School District is involved in continuing their prevention programs, teaching resiliency skills. Welcome Monica Hollinger to the program.
Hi, Monica.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
We have so much information to cover in 8 minutes.
Okay,
You and I
let's
were
go.
recently at an event where IHC was there, and you stood up and talked about the resiliency of what you're trying to implement at the district.
Right.
So I wanted to just invite you here today and share with us what the district's doing. How are you teaming up with IHC? Tell us about some of those different things, the different apps you're doing, and helping us parents understand what we can do to help our kids.
Right. Well, I want to kind of touch on some of the things that Nebo School District is currently doing or what we have in place. We did a huge launch where we have the Safe UT app. So we launched that through all of our secondary and elementary schools, where students who are concerned about a fellow student or if they're stressed, that they can call this hotline, which is manned by the University of Utah, and they take the information. It's a hotline. And then if it is a tip that we need to act on, they will send it down to the school district and it's assigned out. So
I love that app.
So when you know, just in case somebody's not understanding where you are, who you are, when you're talking about the resiliency skills, how did that all come about?
Well, I think that most recently our suicide rate has gone up in our community, and the risk factors that our kids are exposed to, that has come forefront in how we're dealing with kids and what can we do to prevent that, and talk to the kids about that prevention piece so that we can keep them mentally safe and healthy and moving forward in life. So
Do you know
that's-
what's causing this rise in?
in the mental health? I don't.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
many
yeah,
different
there's
things.
I mean, like there are so many factors that go into it. The social media piece. There's, keeping up with friends and the high expectations that we have in our community for education, and those high standards that we have can cause many different stressful things, or just mental health in itself.
Thank you.
I love that it's called the Resiliency Program, though. And how did it actually get named? How did it get named, really? I mean, just to kind of, it's really like a bounce back program after they've gone down a path that seems to get them back on track,
Right.
like a back on track program, right?
Right, it can be. And I think, as I was looking through information that I could bring here, Katie Hurley, who is an LCSW, she had a really good article about resiliency in children and strategies as parents. What can we do to help build those skills? And some of the things that she talks about is that every child has those skills, but they develop over time as the child grows older. And as parents, what can we do to help them develop appropriately and be able to be successful in this? And some of the things that they talk about is, as parents, building a strong emotional connection. So our kids have that strong connection to friends and family, so they have a support network to fall back on. It talks about promoting healthy risk taking for kids, because kids need to fail, because
They
if they
do.
don't have failures, they don't know what a success is. And so we have to let our children have those small failures so that they can maybe stay away from the big failures because of the things that
We
they've
can't save them
experienced.
from everything.
Exactly.
Right.
And so she talks about that. She also talks about making sure that, we're labeling emotions with our kids so that we can communicate with them and understand, well, I'm sad today or I'm hurt today. Because if we don't have that common language, how do we communicate with them and share and understand what they're feeling or what they're going through? She also talks, about demonstrating coping skills, those deep breaths when we're all in panic mode and we stop breathing, and now we're in fight or flight because we're not breathing, and that's just a natural part of, who we are as humans, is the fight or flight. Got to stop and breathe.
Right.
And so demonstrating that. A big one is embracing the mistakes. When we make a mistake, it's okay. We can move forward and relish in those failures so that we can have, positive things that happen in our life later.
Is it possible to identify when a child is not coping with certain?
Yeah, she kind of talks about like
Lifestyles
that depression and anxiety. and the signs as parents that we need to look for to help our kids, and having open communication with our kids so that when they are feeling discouraged or down, that we're talking about it, that we're not just ignoring it, oh, it's going to go away, but
Or
being aware.
accepting of, even if they're in that mood.
Right.
Still being accepting and loving.
Right.
Maybe.
And yes, exactly. And not be afraid to talk about it.
And the teachers and principals are on the front line, so they're
Yes.
seeing these probably before any psychologist or psychiatrist, right? You're there. So besides the Safe UT app, which if a child sees another child in their school, can just text this number.
Yes.
And this is in the high schools, right?
Yes.
Throughout the state of Utah.
Yes, it is. It's been
Okay.
launched. Some of the other things that we have are the Hope Squad curriculum that we're using. And this year is the first year where we've applied for the grant where we can do the Junior Hope Squad. So we'll be having that in the 6th grade.
Sorry, what's the Hope Squad?
So it's Hope for Utah
Okay.
by Greg Hudnall, and it's a foundation of like the students helping us to support other students. And if they see or hear students struggling, they come to appropriate adults to help these students through those hard times, so that counselors can help them. So I'm excited about that we're
awesome.
able to bring that into some of our elementary schools and use that curriculum and that foundation to help our kids talk about it. But I think the biggest thing is in our community, we need to talk about it. And when we have a child or a parent or somebody struggling with depression or anxiety or suicidal thoughts, we help them find the resources that they need, because we can't lose one more person, student, parent, to mental health. And we need to talk about it and not be ashamed. It's okay. We have struggles. So,
Well, you've talked about, a Junior Hope Squad and the Hope Squad and even the safety app. And I know even there are children, maybe even younger than those age groups, that are being impacted and maybe even don't have access to a smartphone. How young is even too young to identify maybe some of those signs?
I think with the mental health piece, behaviors, actions, how they interact with their peers, I mean, those are all signs that we want to look for as parents. And when we see those things, I mean, it could be as young as a first grader. They may be having behaviors or, things that are alarming as a parent. And we need to assess those and find the appropriate people to help them get the help that they need.
So I think you were mentioning that the facilities, are they here in?
Yes, we do. We have many wonderful mental health agencies that we can work with. But in Utah County, we also have very limited residential facilities that we can have our kids go and be safe at for suicide. And when that facility is full in Provo, we have to send our kids up to Salt Lake. And so that's a far way for families to travel. When
Is there only one facility in the entire valley?
that takes that takes
You're kidding.
that we have access to. So like if they go to the emergency room and they're assessed that they need additional inpatient services,
Right.
we have one facility in Utah County, and then they use
So will the new IHC facility
just gonna ask
be
that.
I think that they're
facility?
assessing to have beds
Okay.
available to help us. I don't know to what capacity and how
Okay.
many, but I know that they will have that for us to use as well,
I
which
liked
is exciting.
in that meeting how we discussed there were like city officials there, district officials, and then
Like mental
doctors
health
and mental health,
doctors,
and everyone agreed there that is a need for Southern Utah County.
It is. It
that we
is.
need more people here to help the kids.
Exactly.
So-
Well, and we have an amazing partnership with our local mental health agency, which is Wasatch Mental Health, and they've recently opened the new building in Salem, Payson, which is a beautiful building.
Where
And
is that?
It's across from Mountain Star Hospital in
Oh.
Payson, so it's just kind of kitty corner
Okay.
on the Salem side.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've seen
Yeah.
that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building.
And that's Wasatch Mental Health. So that would be a great resource for any
Yes.
of our audience listening
Yes.
that they could call.
Yeah,
call
and
them
get
for
services.
help and services.
Absolutely. But and then if they don't, your insurance doesn't cover what they provide, then they can also connect you. But they have a crisis line there that is manned 24 hours a day. So if families are in crisis or students or anyone, call that number. They will help
Okay.
you.
Do you have that number?
Not off the top of my head.
Fantastic.
But yeah. Yeah.
Well, yes, that was a wealth of information, and
Wow,
we
thanks,
thank
Monica,
you so
for
much for
coming.
your time.
Thank you.
We will. We'll
Thank you.
try and post those numbers and
Yes.
website to share later on.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's time for our book reports. We hope you're ready to. Don't go away. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Okay, teacher, we're ready to report on our book club assignment. Wow, aren't you looking studious?
Hey, Miss Beck.
Well, if I'm going to read, if I'm going to open this book, I need my glasses on.
Yeah, I
love
probably
it.
need mine
Looks the
too.
part. She looks
Truth
like-
be told.
Okay, we read it.
Okay,
Yes,
we read it
finally.
and we
Girls,
loved
go wash
it.
your face.
Yes. Okay,
fantastic.
so confession.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, because when Natasha picked the book,
Yes.
let's be honest,
You were scared.
I was scared. Well, you know,
nested.
yes, I know. when I picked before, not so great. But oh my gosh,
It was good.
super refreshing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just so many good takeaways.
It's a
like,
light, easy read.
Yeah.
But then I also wonder, we're all in our 40s. Mm-hmm. Did you find that a lot of it you kind of knew? And it was kind of refreshing, like, oh, I've learned that.
Yeah.
I think for 20, 30-year-olds, this could be like that book, like that
Yeah.
aha book.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Totally.
there's a lot of like, oh, yeah, right on. Okay, this is true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt.
I
Yes,
felt
very
I
much.
felt a lot about this book that I did with the Magnolia story. Like I feel like I
Yeah.
could invite her into my home and that she
Exactly.
would not be judgmental at all. I feel like even though my house isn't probably up to Joanna Gaines standards, that I would totally
Really?
invite
Oh.
that I would still invite her into my home
Yeah.
and that she wouldn't be judgmental
Yeah.
either because they understand what it's like to raise kids,
Right.
and they're still growing and coming into their own, and that it's just all a process.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think if anything, those were kind of the takeaways for me. And I listened to the book. I didn't actually
Same.
read the book.
Okay.
I did.
So to
Well,
be
we did. Hey, we managed to.
So you both listened
The
to
words
it.
were
and I
in my
read
head.
it.
Yeah.
so to hear it, and so she read it.
Uh-huh.
So to be able to hear her read it in her own words and kind of her own experience, and to hear her say at the end of every chapter, things that I learned. So her experience and then things that I learned. So the takeaways from that, you're like, oh, yeah, like that was
Yeah.
really good. So things that you gleamed,
Right.
big things that you gleaned from the book.
Geez, when I read any self-help book, I honestly, I have a pen and a highlighter. And I'm listening to a self-help book right now, and I will stop it and hurry and put it in the notes in my phone. I'm like, okay, now I need to go buy a copy of it because I need to refer back to it. But a couple things, and I've heard this before and I believe it full-heartedly, is if you're not happy, it's your own fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
She doesn't mean that in a way that if you're dealing with deep depression, get over it. She doesn't mean that. But there are circumstances in your life that only you can change. I 100% agree. And she says, moving or traveling or getting away, it's just geography. Moving doesn't change who you are. You must choose to be happy, grateful, and fulfilled. And I think I learned that lesson when I was 25. My parents were going through a divorce. We were like right in the middle of it, and I just wanted to get away. So my husband took me up to Park City. I believe we had 2 kids at the time. And in my head, I just thought, I'm away, but I'm still here. This still is hard. I'm still dealing with the emotions. You can't run from this, Stacy. And so, like reading that, it reminded me. But I think I learned that lesson. Like I said,
Yeah,
like
it's true.
you choose happy, and sometimes there's circumstances you just have to go through the motions. Give yourself time to heal. Give yourself time to get through the traumatic experience, because time will heal. But you need to give yourself that.
I loved the part where she talked about her experience where they were trying to adopt a child, and she really felt it. Because, at that part, I really thought, yeah, this would be really great. Maybe, fostering and all of the hang-ups that came from...
How raw and honest she was about it.
Right? After she
It
finished
sucked.
that,
It
I
was
was like,
horrible.
I'm thinking twice.
I'm out.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the pain they went through.
Yeah.
And, how it affected the whole family. It's not just you and your husband or whatever. It's the whole family was affected. And it was really interesting reading that, because that is a world that I don't know, would love to know. And she said it to the,
Yeah, that it was a hard...
yeah, how hard
hard
that
time.
was, and then how disappointed they were when it all fell through.
Yeah, and she had to go through it several
And
times.
pay. Can you imagine how much you pay for that?
Yeah.
Because they don't refund you.
Well,
And
no,
they
but
make
those
that
are
mistakes.
for foster care.
Foster care, yeah, but the foster care that maybe you can adopt the
Yeah.
child.
Poor
Right.
thing.
Well, to have them ripped away from you like that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, when we first started down this path, when we very first started reading the book, I joked with you about breaking promises to yourself.
Yes, you
and,
did.
And that was a really biggie for me because I've done that time and time again. I'm going to work out three times
Okay.
this week. And her start today journal. Like you must write things down, or you really have to envision things, or you matter. Like and really the happiness thing. And if you're not happy before anyone else, or how important it is to really keep those promises to yourself before you have to progress, or you have to put yourself first before you can put anyone else, because we all get in, I think, such a bad habit of putting everyone else first that we put ourselves second constantly. I'll stop drinking Diet Coke tomorrow. I'll start my workout tomorrow. And how many times we do that do-over. But I've already put her second book on reserve. Girl, stop apologizing. Because I think we do that. I do that time and time again. And it's, I'm a working mom. I make that choice. I don't have to feel bad about it. I don't have to apologize for it.
Because is there a chapter
That's
on
what I
that
do. There
in here?
absolutely
I think
is.
so. Yeah, I think
Because
there was,
I've done it.
yeah.
I'm like, oh well, if I just go on this field trip, that will make it okay that I work. And I'll go here and I'll do this, or I'll make this project better here, or like you make excuses, even if not to everyone else, even to yourself, because if I do this, it will make me better here. And and it's like, she's like, stop it.
Own being a working
Yes.
mother.
Stop apologizing. That's what you do. That's what makes you you. You made a choice. You're at Studio Chatter. You're at your computer.
You've got
You're
to
on an
admit, though,
airplane. And I mean,
for a
and
long time.
you own it.
I get what you're saying, but for a long time, not that I felt guilty, but I feel like I have this sense of responsibility. And this is me talking, right? From what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a situation where I know I should be somewhere else, but for the sake of my children, I'm in that place. But now I'm in that place. Well, for goodness sake, my kids are going to be out. Then what? What does my life look like at that
And that's
time?
key.
Yeah, and my kids are seeing that. I'm telling my kids to do whatever you want, be who you want to be. So I'm saying that. Why do I apologize even for being a mother and then thinking I've just got to give my life, my blood, my very last breath to my child? When I'm trying to teach my child, whatever you feel, whatever you want to dream big. And yet I'm not.
You're not modeling the behavior.
I'm
you're
not.
trying to
Yes.
Because
Absolutely. Yes.
mom guilt is very real in that
Yeah.
instance. But then, if you have to be in the moment too when you are momming. Like, set aside that hour and be
Right.
in the moment
Yeah.
with the child
Yes.
instead of being
Yeah.
totally, really. I mean, and so for me, I mean,
Yeah.
that was the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
The takeaway for me is just, don't apologize for who you are and what you are,
Yeah.
but own it.
So now, do you follow her on her social media platforms?
Right, absolutely. I didn't realize they're both very successful. Aren't they? Very successful and very powerful.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, we're
that's
going to run
just-
out of time. Their relationship has started. Holy cow.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
So if you haven't read
fantastic.
this book, you totally have to read this book.
Absolutely.
See, and I met a friend this last week. I lent her this book. She gave it back. She's like, It was
Really?
Yeah.
So I think I gave this like a 4-star, 4 out of 5. What would you guys do?
Absolutely.
About the
4.5,
same.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Definitely.
she's
A
like-
pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
She said a 3. Nothing really moved her. So it is always interesting because when I saw that on Goodreads, because you know how I rate all my books on Goodreads, I was like, what? Like, we've got to talk.
Yeah.
Why? So
But then I think people are in a different place.
Totally.
Mindsets are different. Are they really ready to shift? Or are they just reading just to read? I'm always, now when I read, I'm really particular about what I read because I'm always trying to figure something out in my head because I'm stuck in a place where I don't want to be. And it's always that something that jolts you, doesn't it? To say,
Right.
okay, that doesn't make sense what you're doing. This
Right.
person is doing this. You know, she has big ideas and she just goes for it. Don't worry about the what ifs.
Well, go for the $1,000 purse. I read some reviews online that said that is absolutely ridiculous that she was going to buy a $1,000 purse.
Yeah.
You know what? If that motivates her to be successful, let her go buy the purse.
That's right.
Oh,
Love it. All right. Well, coming up next, we are going to meet a lady that could have service as a middle name. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. She's a busy mom involved in everything with her family, but she still finds time to help others with her girls. How does she do all of that? Welcome Racheline Talbot to the program.
Welcome.
Welcome. Well, we're so excited to have you here. We've had both of
We
your
really are.
Yeah, no, really. We've had both of your daughters here. In different capacities, as you know. But we've been dying to have you back here because
Which just totally floors me. But
no. We want to know the secret. We know there's some sort of secret.
Okay,
So
we should explain
Yeah,
who
we
you
are.
are.
Explain,
Not everyone knows.
No. So we're
Yeah.
talking service, but
No, I'm saying we should explain who she is and who her daughters are for a start.
Okay. Explain who her daughters are.
We'll go on then. No. Okay, explain who.
okay,
Yes.
my name's Racheline Talbot. I have 3 daughters. My oldest daughter was Miss Spanish Fork last year and is currently Miss Greater Salt Lake, Dejana Talbot. And then my second daughter is Miss Utah's Outstanding Teen. She works directly with the Safe Utah app, which you were talking about previously. And her platform, Suicide Prevention. Dejana's platform is Service Esteem, creating self-esteem through service. And then I have a younger daughter who will be 14 in January, and her name's Tasia. So a mom of 3 daughters. That's who I am.
Fantastic. So how do you do that? How do you, sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go
How do you
ahead.
instill service in your children from like the get-go?
So Natasha and I have had several conversations because she has, a daughter, and we have just shared mothering ideas. And I think the basis of where I learned service and how to instill it into my children is from my mother. I think service is a learned skill.
Absolutely.
I think once you do it as a child, most of us have fun things that we want to do, but when we have service instilled to us at a young age, we feel the joy from it and we feel worthwhile. And so that's where I found it, was from my mother. I remember one time I had a really dear friend who was deaf, and it was junior high age, and back then you needed what was called a TDD in order to speak with somebody. You called a phone number, they put their phone on this machine, and it would text and type. That's how you spoke to somebody who was deaf at that point in time. And he was my neighbor, and we had a really great relationship just as friends, but he was unable to talk on the phone. And we found this out. The family was unable to provide that for him. And so what we did, it came around, and it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. My mom collected the money, I'm not sure where it came from, our family savings somewhere, and went and purchased this. And so we got to go and give it to him as a gift. And the joy that I felt from that, I think it just started that little spark of, okay, now what else can we do? I mean, there's joy that comes from helping others. And so I think that's why I tried to instill it in my daughters at such a young age.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
But there's some, but I don't even know what it is. I'm like, but really, what is it? There's something more to that, because I literally, when I call Raish, it's on I don't care if it's on a Sunday afternoon. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Oh, well, we're doing haircuts for the homeless. And when the fires were burning, I'm like, she's at the end of the line and they're serving the firefighters. Or just recently, you were in New York City on the Steve Harvey show because Dejana had done something amazing with Michael, a boy with autism, and she had stepped in and taken him to the junior prom because somebody had been bullying him.
Yeah, which is just, it's funny because we've had these conversations with my girls around the dinner table. My husband started at a very young age, and he would say, do something good for someone today. And then at the dinner table at night, he would say, okay, what'd you do?
So it's a return and report almost.
Exactly.
Look for opportunities.
Exactly.
Okay.
And every day, I mean, service can be grand, it can be huge, or it can be something really small, like seeing somebody drop something and go over and help them pick it up, and hey, you know, hope you have a good day, and send them on their way better. And so that's what his purpose was. Is in elementary age, they were taught, you know, look for the friend who needs somebody to sit with them at lunch. Open the door for a teacher as she's carrying stuff that she can't, you know, make it through. Make those efforts and it was just instilled at such a young age that it doesn't seem difficult or hard. And so, speaking to my girls now, Christmas has kind of been ruined for them, quite frankly, because a couple of years ago we went down to Mexico and we built a home in Mexico for Christmas with Builders Without Borders. And now Christmas comes around and they're like, okay, now what service are we going to do? So once again, we're going down to Mexico in February to do another home building. But it can be the small things or the large things. And I think that's one thing that's so great about service. As she was talking earlier about resiliency, one of the things that service helps reduce is stress, is anger. It gives you hope, and it helps you look outside of yourself. Exactly, it does. It really does give you a purpose. Years ago, when I was working with the youth and we were seeing a decline in self-esteem, one of the things I was trying to figure out is how do we build self-esteem, in particular in young women? I mean, men as well, but my focus at that point in time was young women. And it said one of the main things to do is service. That when you feel like you have a purpose and you're helping somebody else, you see value in yourself and you see value in the other person. And if you can learn empathy and sympathy, I think it creates a really fantastic human. And that starts from a very, very young age. Kids are born with love and kindness, and sometimes we breed it out of them. I was reading an article the other day, and it was talking about Prince Charles. And one of the things that he did, it was Harry and William that were saying that when they would travel, they would go on rubbish days. They would go and they would pick up trash with their father, because for him the environment was so important. And so he said, as a family, I just thought everybody went on holiday and picked up trash. And that's the thing. If you start service now, you know, whatever day it is for your family, you'll find that to them it becomes very normal, and they start seeking ways without really having to think of it.
I love that so much, because even those boys of privilege
Exactly.
find it so common to go pick up rubbish. And I love, love, love spending time around your girls in particular, because they just don't. They have, I think I was explaining to you this to you before, that they don't see any disabilities. They literally can walk into any old folks' home or see somebody in a wheelchair or somebody with, and they just don't see it, and they just push through, and everybody is completely just completely normal to them. I think I told you my experience as a child with performing at the old folks home was a little bit scary sometimes, because it's, you know, a little frightening, or, you know, it's unfamiliar to you, and your girls just don't see that.
Which is so great with your girls, because like you said, that's been Miss Spanish Fork, Miss Greater Salt Lake, Miss Outstanding Teen. They're beautiful, they're talented, they're sweet,
It's
but
amazing.
they don't have judgment.
No.
So like you've given them this balance. I think you need to write a book. I think it's time.
You do. I mean,
think
really.
it's time.
And Steve Harvey called you out of the audience when you were in New York, and he's like, "You're doing a hell of a job, Mom," and
Yeah.
you are. I mean,
Yeah.
you
It was
should.
quite a compliment.
Yeah, it was,
quite a
amazing, and it's
compliment
true.
from
I'm like, you must come and tell us the secret. And in this season of service, I mean, what advice would you give to?
So I asked Dejana right before I was coming down here, I said, what's your earliest memory of service? Because she did. She went, was in charge of my great uncle who had special needs. And so she went with me to the facility starting in a baby carrier. So from a very, very young age. And she said going and visiting Lynn, that was one of her first. It's called Hidden Hollow Care Center in Orem, and it's a special needs residential facility. So going there, she said, but also taking things around during the holidays. That was one of her first like bright lights of, okay, we're doing this for a purpose and this is exciting. Taking and delivering things and leaving it on the door for a family that maybe needed something. Those are the things that your children will remember, the memories. They'll remember the feelings that are created in those little sparks of time. Being here at Tabitha's Way, you know, the feeling of community that's there, the little moments that your family feels when they're there, they'll draw back to it. And I think that's really, really the purpose as parents, is to give our children the foundation and the hope that they can be better, and to feel that I'm helping somebody else out and we're going to make it together. I think that's really, really important to share. But yeah, this is the perfect time, perfect holiday time to give back and to start really truly serving.
Well, you're an amazing example. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Would you like to get involved in helping others? We have the plan. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Just how big are the needs of others in our community, and how can you help out? Welcome Wendy Osborne, the founder and director of Tabitha's Way, to the table.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You've had a busy day,
Yes.
and that will reflect in your voice for the next couple of minutes.
Yes, I
You've been
apologize.
talking all day about how great Tabitha's Way is.
Yeah, so we've had several individuals and groups coming to our pantry today, and so I've spent a lot of time talking to them about our organization, what we do, and why it's important and how they can help. So
So
it's a lot of
after
fun.
this, you can go home and go to bed.
Okay. Oh, great. That's good.
Can I give you permission to do that?
Thank you very much. Yes.
I think last time you were here, you were also in the process of moving to the bigger facility as well. So
start there.
yeah,
Yes.
so now you're in the
Yes.
bigger, better location,
building.
right?
Yes, yes. We are so blessed. In March, we were able to move into our new facility, which used to be the old Big John's Country Store, the craft store, or some individuals know it as Fritzy's.
I
So
remember that.
we were able to purchase that building about 2 years ago,
Okay.
and renovated that building. Renovated that building and moved in March. And so we love it. The important things for the building is that we have the loading dock doors, so we can bring food in on pallets. We move about 80,000 pounds of food every single month. So not having to lift all that with our backs is a blessing. And then the ADA access, so the doors. We now have a ADA ramp and a ADA door, so individuals who have disabilities or seniors can come in and shop. The first week we were open, we had a gentleman that came by, and he was in a fully automated wheelchair. And he said to me, "I've known about your pantry for years, but I just couldn't get into it." And so I know it broke my heart. But then I said, "Okay, but we're here now. We can help you." And I was so grateful that we could serve him and help him. And so it was wonderful. So we are so blessed to be in that new building.
And
And
is that First
it's
North?
45 East and First North.
Okay, all right, just in case.
Yeah, 45 East. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So right there.
And what's the average number of visits someone in need makes
Comes.
to your pantry?
So on average, we see it's about anywhere from 5 to 6.5 visits is what we see.
So it's not a long term.
No, it's temporary.
And so
temporary
what kind of
assistance.
situations are people going through? Normally, do you find?
So our mission statement is to help families and individuals through a tough time. And so what is a tough time? We have families that come in. We had a senior that came in, and her situation with her finances, she was on Social Security, but she had $16 a month in which to live off of, which is like not enough money to buy food at all. We had a gentleman who came in recently who his wife was, they're a young couple. He had a good job. He had good insurance. His wife was pregnant with twins, and sadly, they lost one of the twins, and so now they had this massive financial burden in terms of funeral services and expenses that they weren't never dreaming or anticipating to have. And so we were able to help them through that time to provide food for them. We have other individuals that come in and maybe their car breaks down or there's a temporary job loss. And so those are the individuals that we're serving, mostly families and children. 50% of those we serve or more are children. So local families, just families in need.
All right. And what about for those that are looking for service opportunities? Looking to
Pick me.
give back to the pantry or to help out?
So we serve on average 6,000 individuals every month. Right now we have 56 volunteers that go out to pick up the food from local grocery stores like Macy's and Stokes and Costco, Olive Garden, all these different organizations. So it takes 56 volunteers just to get it to the pantry. Now we have to get it in the pantry and stocked on the shelves. So we're always looking for volunteers that can come in, whether it's they drop in just once. If you have some free time, you want to drop in for an hour, great. If you can come in once a week or once a month, we always have things going on. There's a lot of hands that need to help to stock and get that food in. We also need hands to help get the food to our clients, meaning serving our clients. And so whether that's standing at our refrigerator and helping our clients see what food items we have so that they are aware of that, helping them out to their car. We have several individuals that don't have the ability to take that grocery cart of food and get it into their car. So we have volunteers that help them just get the food from their cart and into their car. So there's a lot of opportunities.
And how young can I've got 4 boys. I'm always wanting them to do something.
And they have lots of energy, so we love that. We love the kids with energy. So we typically prefer kids 8 years and older. So that they have an opportunity to learn about what we're doing. We spend some time with them and explain who is hungry in our community and why this is important and how they're helping. So when they're checking the cans of food, they're not just feeling like, oh, I'm just playing with food or I'm checking cans of food. It's I'm feeding people. I'm understanding that if you're not checking the food, we don't have food on our shelves and people don't get to eat. So you're feeding people. And so explaining that process to them and involving them is a lot of fun. And kids are natural givers. Kids are, they have big hearts and they want to give and they want to do service. And so it's an excellent opportunity for kids, for families, and for retired individuals to come. Anyone. There's always something for someone to do at Tabitha's Way. Always.
Do you have like clerical work as well?
Yes.
Some volunteering do or administrative?
Yeah, we have anything from helping us do creating marketing posters to putting together Excel sheets to writing grants. We have our intake specialists. So when a client first comes to our pantry, we do a needs assessment and we sit down with them and we have volunteers that will sit down and talk to those individuals and really find out what's the root problem, what's going on in their situation. And it takes really someone with a very compassionate heart that can get people to open up and because people don't want to be vulnerable. And so when you can get people to talk and share what's going on so that we can find a resource that can help that family besides just the food that we're giving them, what else can we offer them that will help them through that tough time and make that transition period or that time for them easier.
So Wendy, people watching this may wonder, okay, you've just talked about food, but they know that you have bins throughout the county. But there's been a transition over the last couple of years. Explain the transition with the clothes and the bins and the food.
Okay. So Tabitha's Way originally started, we had a thrift store and a food pantry, and the purpose for the thrift store was to fund the food pantry. And just to kind of give you an idea, in a year's time, we would maybe see 130 people that had asked for help with clothing assistance. But we're feeding 6,000 people a month. And so there's a much greater need in terms of food. And so, and with the clothing, there was a space issue. There's a lot of handling the clothes and reselling the clothes and all those things. And so, and of course, we're doing the same thing. We're collecting clothing items and small household items. And those items are sold, actually they're resold locally here, and they're become affordable clothing on here in our county for people, but all of the monies from that go back to our food pantry, so it provides food for individuals. So if you have clothing items, kids tend to grow out of their clothes. Sadly, we do too sometimes. It's coming up on the holidays. If those jeans get a little tight, no worries, put them in the bin. So we can use them. So yeah, it's a huge benefit. So it becomes clothing for other people and food for Tabitha's. So
Is there a greater need maybe this time of year for cold weather items also? Maybe more coats, maybe more gloves, maybe
Yeah.
blankets?
yeah, we tend to get a lot of hats, but gloves is a big need.
Okay.
Snow boots.
But are you going to
coats.
keep those at Tabitha's Way?
We don't keep them at Tabitha's
You'll
Way,
sell
but
them.
we sell them and then provide vouchers. So our clients, if somebody has a need for free clothing or clothing assistance, they can come in and get a voucher and still go get them. So and the local organizations that we partner with still need those items. So they're still
good to
helpful.
know.
So they still find the way to the person that needs them. So it almost gets a double whammy because you get the food and you also get the clothing that needs for people.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Are there also opportunities to maybe help serve holiday dinners?
we're doing our Thanksgiving turkey basket this Saturday, but it does fill up. We've actually already filled up with all of our volunteers, so you almost have to catch us early. So we have 75 volunteers will come this Saturday to give out 450 Thanksgiving baskets. At
Will you be
Tabitha's
doing
Way.
anything for Christmas?
Christmas,
Or by the time this airs, Thanksgiving
Will be gone, yeah.
Yeah.
So Christmas, we are collecting stockings for children to
Okay,
give out. So that's an
perfect.
opportunity there.
Okay.
But give us a call.
Just
email
call
us.
and see what you
Yeah.
need.
Our number
Okay.
is 801-709-8573
Okay.
or info@tabithasway.org, or just drop in and see us. But we're a party of projects. There's something going on all the time.
And let's not forget Tabitha's Way after the holidays.
That's right.
Yes.
People
Yes.
are still hungry in the summer months as well, and so I think you're just such a great resource. You were truly inspired years ago to open this here at this end of the
Indeed.
valley. And
blessed to be here and thankful
We're
for
blessed
the
to have
support.
you.
So thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Wendy.
You guys are
I
awesome.
love that. Party of projects.
Yes.
There's more studio chatter on the way. Welcome back. We made it. What did we learn?
Bam! That was like, I said bam, by the way.
Bam.
Service. There was a lot of service. Service
Well, it
for
was
my
weird that we
children.
didn't
Yes.
like
That's great.
coordinate.
I know
It just came together.
Because it was meant to be.
Absolutely.
Love it when a
was so
plan
true.
comes together.
It was fun.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah,
good.
it really was.
That was fun. These
feel like
women,
Yeah,
very inspirational.
ready for
Well, you
the-
can't go wrong with service. I
No.
mean, when you're giving of yourself.
So, you know what, my son, so we go to a school that's very academia driven, right? So we don't, I won't say very much. But anyway, he goes to a different school, high school,
okay.
and they do a lot of service, put it that way, right? They
That's
do a
good.
lot of service, and it's just softened him as a boy. I mean,
Really?
yes, opens the
Do you
door.
love it?
I love it. Oh my gosh. I just I'm like, oh. You know, it's like I'm having my 14-year-old back from wherever he was.
Well, you're lucky if you're getting a 14-year-old boy
Oh,
back,
it's
because usually that
wonderful.
takes a little longer.
No, and
than
it's just
14.
but I think it's the service and
wow.
what they're being taught. They're very service orientated school, which I love. At first I was like, it's all about academia, but you know what? That's what makes a whole person.
Yeah.
When you're giving and the feeling that it gives you, it makes you more aware of your surrounding.
Well, to that point, when Raicheline talked about Diana's boys and how princes are picking up rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, when you're getting down to that level and picking up
can do that,
garbage
yeah.
and giving back. I mean, there's something to that.
Right.
I mean, when you've had a full day of service and whether it's tying quilts or picking up garbage or whatever it is, you walk away with a full heart.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it changes you.
Right.
It really does
It
bring
does.
change and it does soften you.
And
And
service,
go on.
no, I was going to say service usually involves someone else.
Right.
Rarely are you
exactly.
doing it 100%
Right.
alone, because you're serving someone else, whether a group is serving or you're serving that individual, and it's creating that relationship.
realizing that there's other people that may not have that same opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to teach my boys, you know?
It's true. Well,
Yeah.
it's bigger than yourself. It's
Yeah.
stepping outside of yourself, and
Right.
that honestly that is key, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Rachaeline about instilling that in children for such a long time, because there's something to that. What's key there? And when you're going and building homes for other people, or when you're serving in orphanages, or when you're doing those things, it truly, and a point that you made earlier, it's not just this time of year. And when you said that about Wendy, going and helping at Tabitha's Way, let's not just have it about this time of year. Let's make it all year round.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
That's easy. That's easy to to do this time of year, because it's so much about this time of
Yeah.
year. But
Oh, this was good.
Yeah.
so good,
So good.
heartwarming, lovely
Hey.
to see you ladies again.
And we're going to talk about the next book?
Yes.
We're going to have a
Yes.
longer period. So
Yes.
what's book?
Well, so Aqua and I just discovered tonight
Yeah.
that we're currently reading the same book.
Okay.
So Natasha, we'd invite you to join us.
Okay, and everyone else.
Educated by Tara Westover.
Tara, or is it Tara? T-A-R-A, you say Tara?
I say Tara.
I say Tara. A
say
says
potato.
what? No,
I say potato.
Educated. We hear wonderful reviews.
Yes.
We're not going to review it till January, so you can have 2 months to read it. So
Right.
join us,
Yeah.
Natasha.
Okay.
Tara Westover.
Well,
Okay.
thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the chatter. Tell a friend about us.